Obviously, a disappointing loss. I walked to the locker room right after the game, and I told the guys that's on me. Obviously, I didn't have them ready to execute at a high enough level. I don't think our young men will sit there and point blame at each other or whatever the case may be. I think they're hurting, they're frustrated, but for whatever reason, we weren't able to find a way to execute for 4 quarters. The things we say we want to do as a program, we weren't able to do. Continue to turn the ball over, which has been our Achilles heel this season, or our losses. We didn't have many explosive plays as an offense. Defensively, obviously, that first drive, and then not be able to really stop the run until later in the game. The defense did some good things, but not good enough. And like I mentioned earlier, that special teams blunder wasn't good enough. So, we're not where we need to be in order to find ways to win games. And that's the frustrating part. And like I said, it starts with me. So I got to go back and figure out during these next few weeks what we need to do differently in order to get the thing. The guys believe there's no quitting them. They're not sitting there giving up. If I had my druthers, I'm sure they'd want to get back to work tomorrow immediately and find ways to get this thing fixed. We're a banged up team, pretty obvious, but we got to find ways to get healthy, and it starts with me also finding ways to win the football game in all 3 phases.
Evan and then Frank, you guys fire away. Just speak loudly, please.
Sure. Brian, if you could take us through just kind of when did you guys realize that Seth was not going to be able to play? How long did you give Peter time to kind of prepare for this game, if you will?
Yeah, look, with Seth, it truly came down to a game day decision. We're going to see how he felt today. Obviously, we know that he had his shoulder was hurt last game. He was out at practice every single day this week in a variety of capacities and doing different things. So it literally, but Peter was able to prepare and work. And, look, I'll give Peter credit. He battled today. Was it the best statistical game in the world? No. But, Peter was a guy that, going into training camp was our 4th string quarterback. And he is stuck with it. And I thought he did a good job today. Just continue to try to do those things that we want to do. Seth wasn't able to go. Seth's still our quarterback. We got to get him back healthy. But we got to find ways to execute better.
When you say he was able to be, Seth was able to be in the right capacities, would you be able to say what exactly he was able to do? Because you said Saturday he was at practice. So just what capacities was he able to be in?
Yeah, I mean, he was able to do some things, but not everything on a detailed basis in and out. So he was out there. He was in shoulder pads. He was running around. Obviously, we're never going to put a guy that could be in harm's way out there on the field on game day. We talked to doctors. We continue to do things. Obviously, a lot of rehabilitation. The kid worked really hard and had every desire to try to play the game. So it wasn't that. It was just if he had the arm strength to go today, and as long as we weren't going to risk him further injury. So throughout the week he was able to do a variety of different things. And sometimes he was able to throw the ball, but maybe it wasn't with the velocity we wanted or the distance we wanted. And so we felt that really midday today that as the day went on, we knew that he wasn't going to be able to go out there today and fully execute. But you guys saw him in pregame. He was able to throw some passes. He was able to do some things with his legs, but just we didn't feel comfortable putting him out there in full capacity.
And with that, with Peter, just obviously you mentioned in the game day decision, but just how did you prepare Peter this week? Because obviously it's a game time decision. You were assuming that during practice, Peter probably has, preparing like a starter, but we don't know if he's going to be a starter.
Yeah, we talked when we talked to Peter and Seth. Obviously we're very realistic and said, hey, Peter, you got to roll with this thing right now and act like you're the starter. And he did. He did a nice job preparing all week. He worked hard. He pushed himself. He understood the game plan that was called for him. And like I said, Peter was all in with the understanding of it, and he got the practice reps with the ones. Hunter Halsley got the practice reps with the twos. And so, and then when Seth was out there, he was able to do some things, but it just wasn't always full speed like we would hoped.
How do you handle, when you're having to switch to Peter, how do you handle the playbook? Obviously, you're able to do some things with Peter that you can't do with Seth in terms of running the ball. But how do you handle, gauging enough play calls for him passing with him, coming from 4th string? Yeah,
Peter's an intellectual individual that works hard at it all week. And so, did we change up the playbook a little bit? Sure, absolutely. We couldn't throw the full thing at him, and especially in a week's notice. But he worked hard. We had enough plays that we felt comfortable with. Obviously, we did some more quarterback run game with him stuff that we hadn't been able to do in my time here at Memphis, and some of our quarterback run stuff that we were able to open up. He did a nice job reading it. Obviously, we didn't have a lot of success throwing the ball tonight. And I think where we struggled offensively, there's no explosive plays. We weren't able to hit any of the shots down the field. We weren't really able to push it other than sometimes when the pocket broke down and he was able to run and use his legs. So, that's part of it. We couldn't get our true run game going. And you could say that was a variety of reasons, whether they brought a safety down the box to try to defend him. They blitzed probably 50% more than they had shown all season. So again, I've got to do a better job making sure that we're ready for everything. And it's on me.
And then, like you said, turn the run game. I think Brandon had 5 carries a day. Was that just the nature of the RPO, or what?
Yeah, it was quite a bit. So part of when you have a running quarterback, a lot of it is an RPO, what I would always refer to as a triple option. So he's got some different things. So when they thought that he was going to hand the ball off, they would bring an extra defender, and then Peter would keep it. And then sometimes it was a throw, sometimes it was a design, a run with that based off of that. So that part had an effect. And then when you get behind the sticks, we're playing too far behind, what I would say just off series, if you will. And so that requires you to throw it a little bit more than you want and not get the run game going. That was part of what happened to us tonight.
As far as Seth, I know you guys are heading into the bye week or off week. Is there any timetable on, his status for us in 2 weeks?
No, Evan, I hope he can play. He is our quarterback. He's done a phenomenal job all year. Again, I think he'll be day to day. We are going to work. I'm not one of those coaches just going to say, we got to get healthy though. So we're going to be smart with him and see where he's at. And hopefully we'll have some more answers, as he continues to progress, because he's going to work his tail off to get back.
And then Sanchez, Free, so I didn't see David Kemp out there or John Cartwright. Any update on the 4 of them or specific updates?
Yeah.
Besides that?
Sanchez Blake is out for the season with an injury that occurred last game. John Cartwright is dealing with an injury as well. David Kemp didn't make the travel roster. And then who was your last question? Drake Clark, day to day, we hope he's in a similar situation that we hope we can get him back sooner than later.
With guys being day to day, is it a matter of just kind of, what exactly kind of is the process? Because I think with Drake, it's been now a couple of weeks now. So kind of like when it's day to day, what exactly is?
Well, it depends on the severity of the injury. So everybody's different, right? If it's sometimes there's guys like with concussions and they got past certain test scores, right? There's guys with ankles that, oh man, they look great, and then they can have a setback. We can never, we're going to rely on the medical experts. We got a fantastic medical team, athletic training department that does a great job pouring into our guys, and we've got excellent feedback back and forth. I don't ever force a guy back. The one thing about our guys is they work. I mean, our guys are sometimes in the training room at 5 a.m. Till 5 p.m. and doing Zoom study hall just so they can try to get back. So Drake Clark is one of those that, is day to day. As soon as he's healthy, whether it's a significant possible risk to further injury or pain tolerance, each one of our players is different with that.
So when you've got an off week, like you do now, how do you handle, you got a lot of guys banged up, but still need to get that preparation for SMU. How do you do that?
Yeah, and that's that fine balance. We do need to get healthy. I'm not going to sit here and make any bones about it. We do need to find ways to get healthy and get some of our guys back. We have lost a significant number of guys to season-ending injuries. In my 6 years here, again, no excuses at all. But we've got we've been banged up more so this year than we have in the past, and we got to find ways. But we do need to work, and our guys understood that. That's the one thing in that locker room. They sat there and they understood what needed to be done. And that was the thing is our guys weren't sitting there saying, oh, hope's lost. We're going to give up. We're going to quit. They know we're going to work. I'm going to be smart with it. It's find that fine balance when I can go out there and practice 6 straight days. But, a lot of things to understand. And it's going to start with the film study, find ways we can get better. And again, myself included, right? I got to do a self-evaluation, figure out what I can do to assist this program to get over the hump, because it's certain things that we're not doing in order to execute to win. And nobody wants to hear close. Nobody wants to hear any of that stuff. We just got to find ways to get it better done. And ultimately it starts with me. And I promise you guys that, and our young men will believe and keep at it.
Brian, I think I asked you 2 weeks ago, but now you guys are 4-4, kind of just like that team was 3 years ago. At this point, you don't obviously want to get into like panic mode or anything, but just what do you do now with these last 4 games? I guess, I know you want to do it day to day, but what do you do now knowing that there isn't much time now to kind of turn the season around? What do you think needs to change at this point the most besides turnovers, you think?
Yeah, I think the guys do have this sense of urgency and they understand that, right? And I think I'd be very concerned if I'd come and sat down here and the locker room wasn't pissed or we didn't feel like things that they'd given up hope. They hadn't, I mean, it was amazing. Even regardless of what the score looked like with 4 minutes and 13 seconds, the guys were saying, let's go, we can get this. It's a lot of the same group of guys that had some come behind wins where the ball bounced their way last year in certain games. And it's not. And so it's just continue to believe, continue to push. And we have a certain standard that we're going to uphold. And like I said, and I've got to continue to find ways to meet that standard of excellence with everything we do. And how do we do it? Right. I've got to look at everything, Evan, whether it's, is there things we can do better from a practice plan standpoint? Is there a game planning schematically things that we can do to continue to improve? Is there a personnel? Is there a guy, hey, maybe this guy gives us a better chance to have success? And I think we look at all those things and find ways to get this program better.
All right, we're gonna move to Zoom.
Terry, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, I know it's a disappointing loss, but what positive can you take? I know you said the guys fought hard the whole game, but what positive can you take without looking at the film?
Yeah, Terry, it's hard. It's hard to anything Peter, like I said, he battled. So he's going to be just as disappointed with anybody with his turnovers in the final result. But maybe, that allows us to be able to have some packages for him and in the future that we were able to put some trust in there with what he wants. But the only positive I could ever take away from this whole thing is that the guys won't quit. And I know that because I just saw them in the locker room, and they'll continue to battle. And that's the type of team we'll have. And that's the type of team we'll always have, regardless of what the outcome of games are, whether we're 12-0 or where we sit right now at 4-4. And so they're disappointed, they're frustrated. And again, like I said, it ultimately starts with me, and I got to find ways to get it fixed.
Coach Silverfield, thank you.
Thank you, guys.